Yeah, hi guys. Hope you're keeping well. So I'm gonna get straight into it, and we're continuing on with coordinate geometry, but moving a slightly way away from slopes and stuff like that. So we've got this yellow line going down here. Now, what is the equation of this line? So what do you think it is? So if you guess that it's x equals 2, you're bang on correct. Now the reason it's x equals 2, so let me just get a pen, is going to be because if we took this point here, so let's take this point here, we'd have the point go across 2, up 1. If we took this point here, we're going across 2, up 2. If we took this point here, we'd go across 2, up 3. What about this point here? It would be across 2 down to -1. Same here. Across 2 down to -2. Now what do you notice about every single point on this line? So you've got to remember that every point is of the form x, then y. And every single one of my x values on this line is 2. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2 minus 2, 2 minus 2. So every single one of those lines is, the x value is 2. So x equals 2 is the line. What about this line over here? So think about it. It's vertical as well. What number does it go through on the x-axis? Well, it goes through x equals -5. And that's going to be that line there. And then what about this line here? So this one is now horizontal. So instead of x, what do you think it will be? If you said y equals 1, you're spot on correct. And now if we focused on this line now, the horizontal line, for example, this point here would be -2, 1. This point here would be -1, 1. This point here would be 0, 1. This point here would be 1, 1. Here we've got 2 1s. So what we're noticing now is that every y value, the second number in this point is 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. And then what about then this line going across here? So it's horizontal. So is it going to be x equals or y equals? And if it's horizontal, it's going to be y equals, and it goes through the point -2, so y equals -2. You don't have to take anything down just now. This is just getting into it just a little bit. So what I want you to take down is this here, okay? So graphing lines should be your title. If it is a horizontal line, it will be y equals and the number it goes through on the axis. If it is a vertical line, it will be x equals and the number it goes through on the x-axis. So make sure to pause the video and take down this information and take down the graph as well, because we're going to look at it in a second. Okay, so for example, your horizontal line here, you see that this is a horizontal line. So if it's horizontal, it's going to be y equals, and you look at the point where it cuts through. It cuts through the point 2. So it's just going to be y equals 2. Okay? And now we'll look at a vertical line. Okay? So if it's vertical, this means it's going to be x equals, so I'll write it down there. And again, we look at the point that it cuts on the x-axis. It cuts through the point -3. So it's going to be -3. Okay, so this will be really important for the questions coming up. So make sure that you've got all of this written down and the graph down with the 2 examples. Okay? Okay, so let's crack on with some questions. So I'd like you to write down the equations of all of these lines. So you're going to have A, B, C, and D. So what is A, B, C, and D? I'm going to start you off with A. So A is this horizontal line. If it's horizontal, it's going to be y equals, and it cuts through tree. So pause the video and have a go at B, C, and D. Okay, so what you should have got, each and every single one should have been y equals because it's horizontal and they all go through the y-axis. For B, it cuts through the point 1, so y equals 1. C, it cuts through the point -1, y equals -1. And D, y equals -3. Simple stuff so far. Now let's try this one. So again, you're now going to have E, F, G, and H. So I'll start you off again. This time they're vertical lines. So you can see each red line is cutting through the x-axis. So it's going to be x equals, and if I start with E, it cuts through the x-axis at -4, and that's that equation just there. So pause the video and have a go at the other three. Okay, so what you should have got then is x equals -2 for F. For G, x equals 1. For H, x equals 4. Not too complicated so far. Okay. And last thing on this, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to draw this XY graph here and sketch these lines. So they're either going to be horizontal or vertical, okay? So pause the video and sketch these lines here. So for x equals 4, you're going to be drawing a vertical line, and it's going to start at x equals 4, and it's going to go, so when you're drawing this, please use a ruler, and this would be x equals 4. Now let me just change my pen color for some of these. So let's do the second one in red. Y equals 2. So y equals 2 means it's a horizontal line, and I go to y axis and I go to 2, and I'm just going to draw a horizontal line. So this is y equals 2. For x equals -2 then, we'll do it in green. So x equals -2. Again, it's an x1, so it's going to be a vertical line. It starts at -2, and we're just going to draw a vertical line from -2. And so this is x equals -2. And then the last one, y equals -3, so it's a y equals, so it's going to be a horizontal starting at -3. So again, please make sure you're using a ruler or the side of a copy or something like that when you're drawing straight lines. And that's going to be it. Okay, so if you got that right, give it a big old tick. Okay, really well done there. If you didn't get that, do make sure you've drawn it, and make sure you've put all this y equals 2, x equals -2, x equals 4, and y equals -3, because you'll need that as a reference for doing questions. Okay, so now we're going to get into something a little bit more complicated. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing, you're going to be given these equations here, something like this. And you have to draw the graph of the line. What that means is we're just going to plot 2 points, because once you got 2 points on a line, you can draw a line because you can extend it either way. So there are 2 really easy points that will help us draw the graph. These 2 points are when the line cuts the y-axis when x equals 0, and the line cuts the x-axis when y equals 0. Okay, so everything that I'm going to be taking down on this slide, you also need to be taken down into your copies. Okay, so for this one here, what we're doing is we're letting x equals 0. So all I'm going to write is x equals 0. That's my first step. Then I'm going to rewrite this line, so y equals 2x plus 2. But what am I going to change the x to? I'm going to change the x to 0 because we're letting x equals 0. So y is equal to 2 times 0 just gives me 0 plus 2. So y is equal to 2. So this is the really important step next. What you've got to do is you've got to make a point. Every single point is always of the form x first, then y. What did we just let x equal to here? We let x equal to 0. And when we let x equal to 0, we solved for y, and y is equal to 2. 0, 2. This is one of our points. So 0, 2. I go along to 0, which is right in the middle, and up to 2. So it's going to be right there. Okay? Now we're going to do the same when y equals 0. So y equals 0. I'm going to get, so instead of y, it's going to be 0 is equal to 2x plus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my 2x to the left-hand side. It changes and becomes a minus 2x is equal to, this just stays as a 2. And what we're going to do now is, I'll just get rid. I'm going to divide by the number in front of the letter. The number in front of the letter is minus 2. And I'm going to divide the right-hand side by minus 2. Because when I do this, my minus 2x divided by minus 2 is just x. 2 divided by minus 2 is minus 1. So my point here, remember, it has to be a point. It always follows of the form xy. So my x value is minus 1, and my y value, we let y equal 0. So minus 1, 0 is here. So I'm going to do this line in a different color. So what you need to do is you need to connect these two dots. And once you've connected the two dots, you can extend them. Okay, so your line should be much more straighter than what my terrible not straight line looks like. And that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day, or the rest of this class. So I'm going to run out of time, so make sure to pause the video, and I want you to take down every piece of information, including the graph. Everything needs to be taken down here. And we're going to go through 2 more examples in the second video. So I'll see you guys in the second video.